We got 3 rigs with us today on 3 different sets of tires. A rock tire, a mud terrain tire, and an all-terrain tire. Now, Brian, I know we got different engines, we got different weights. What have we got in here for engine and lift?
In the engine, we have roughly, it's a 408 cubic inch AMC V8. You might have seen it in the magazines. It's our American Metal Menace. We're pumping right around 435 horsepower and just over 500 foot-pounds of torque. It's an animal act, but it's very easy to drive with all the gearing. It's a very heavy vehicle, which makes it a lot better in the rocks. But in order to hold all that up, we need to have big heavy suspension, and it is a Rubicon Express 4.5 inch lift. It's been fairly customized, but it works really well in the rocks.
And underneath that we've got the Pitbull rockers.
They're a bias ply Pitbull rocker, and they are a 37 by 13.5 inch wide on a 17 inch bad beadlock wheel. Very heavy combination. Again, we're talking 150 pounds per corner on average, which is exceedingly heavy, but it makes it very stable, very easy to creep through. Mud, not so much. Snow, not so much. In the rocks, that's the one you want.
Perfect. And then second vehicle today is the JKU in a Sahara. No engine modifications whatsoever, but we do have a TerraFlex 4.5 inch lift on it. And today we're running on Yokohama XMT, so they're extreme mud terrain tire. And we're running 35 by 12.5 by 17s on just a real basic, but a good looking Deegan 38 wheel. And then our third contender over here is Tim Toyota. So tell us about Tim.
Tim is a 1976 Toyota FJ Land Cruiser, and under the hood is a exceedingly gutless 307 cubic inch Chevrolet V8. If you never heard of the 307, it's okay. Nobody else has, and nobody wants to remember it. Very gutless. The springs are re-arched. It's got a very rudimentary, we'll call it, 4-inch body lift in it as well. But the rig works really well for its intended purposes. It's a very inexpensive vehicle to get into, and it takes us all the places that we really need to go. It's a very good general off-roading vehicle.
We've driven these tires today on these 3 vehicles, and we have been through some mud, actually some pretty goopy stuff. We've been on some dirt, and what's shocking so far is the tires all get you through. No one's had to have a tug or a pull out yet. We have noticed that the XMT is definitely clear very well. Tim Toyota's on a set of Falken Wild Peak AT3W.
They're AT3Ws. They're the new ones out with the Snow Peak.
Yeah.
Been super impressed with these tires, and we've had them on there for about a year now. And they're in a 35, 12, 5, 15. So they are the standard generic off-road size that you're gonna find in a fabulous tire from fit.
Yeah, and actually that's my 4-season wheel for the Jeep and a 33 inch tire. Yeah, so the Pitbulls have done well today too.
The Pitbulls, they are, being a bias ply, the sidewalls are extremely tough and extremely strong. We actually don't bother running a spare tire on this Jeep because it's just such a tank. We can bounce it across rocks and sharp edges and everything else and never really have to worry about it as you would in a more compliant mud terrain style tire or even an all-terrain style tire where you don't have as strong of a sidewall, which equates to a nicer ride on the highway. You kind of have to wear a mouth guard some days to drive the old Jeep, especially if the weather's cold out. Flat spotting's an issue and other things that you don't get with the new generation radials. It's a trade-off. Those are tough as nails. I'd put them up against almost any other tire on the market in terms of strength and durability. But again, this is give and take, and it has its drawbacks. Watching the Geolander clear out through the mud as Perry's going through it is phenomenal to watch, and it's really impressed me with not only how quiet it is on the road, how good the street manners are, but how well it does in this mucky, nasty terrain that we're dealing with here in the fall.
If we had to pick a clear winner right now, it'd be pretty tough. But essentially what you do have here is your best daily driver. You know, quietest tire that gets you through 4 seasons.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. The XMTs, like Brian says, actually for a mud terrain tire, they're fairly quiet. I'm not going to tell you they're quiet, because they're not. But they are fairly quiet. And they do have the M&S rating. If you wanted to pull it through 4 seasons, the flaw, or maybe the weakness, is they're not going to be as good in the snow and the ice as the AT3Ws. And then of course we've got
the Pitbulls, which If you have a hardcore off-road rig that all you want to do is take out and beat to within an inch of its life, there's your pick right there out of our
All right.
3.
So there's your tire comparison in October in
In
British
the
Columbia.
beautiful.
Till next time, Perry Mack, Brian Irons for 4 Wheel Drive Magazine. Stay safe and we'll see you on the trails.